So we're going to talk today about significant digits. We talked a little bit about them in class already, particularly about what the point of a significant digit is. And really it's just about precision and accuracy. So when I say the number 3, you know that I'm talking about the number 3. Not 2.99 that rounded up to 3 or 3.05 rounded down to 3. That's important when you're comparing data. Significant digits are based on these 4 rules. Number 1, all whole numbers greater than 1 are significant. So any number 1 through 9, no matter where you find it, is going to be considered significant. All zeros found between 2 whole numbers are significant, like 1, 0, 2. That 0 will be significant. We call this the sandwich rule. Rule number 3, the final 0 of a decimal number is significant. It doesn't matter where it is behind the decimal. If it's the last 0, it will be significant. And number 4, all zeros used as placeholders are not significant. I'm going to start with a simple example. I'm going to start with the number 12. 12 has 2 significant digits, and that's because of rule number 1. All whole numbers greater than 0 are significant. If I take that 12 and I add a 0 to it to make it 120, it still has 2 significant digits. Again, we have rule number 1, and the 0 is explained by rule number 4, which says all zeros used as placeholders are not significant. If I take that 12 and add the 0 again, but this time with the decimal, this time we have 3 significant digits. Same rule, number 1, to explain the 1 and the 2, but this time the 0 is explained by rule number 3. The final 0 of a decimal number is always significant. If I take that 12 and I put the 0 in the middle to make it 102, again we have 3 significant digits. The 1 and the 2, still rule number 1, and the 0 this time is now rule number 2, the sandwich rule. All zeros found between 2 whole numbers are significant. Now I'm going to do some examples. We'll start with 1, 0, 0, 2. The 1 and the 2 we know are significant because of rule number 1. All whole numbers greater than 1 are significant. We know that the zeros are also significant because of rule number 2. All zeros found between 2 whole numbers are significant. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sig digs, or significant digits. 437.60, 4, 3, 7, and 6 all count because of rule number 1. The 0 is the final 0 behind the decimal, so it counts because of rule number 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sig digs. 400, again, rule number 1, but this time the zeros are placeholders, which makes it rule number 4. They don't count, so we have 1 sig dig. Now this number is a little bit different. We know the 2 and the 9 are going to count because of rule number 1. But we haven't talked about this 0. This 0 is a placeholder. it tells the reader this number is a decimal. A placeholder, remember, rule number 4, is not significant. If this one is not significant, this one is not either. 1, 2, 2 sig digs. Same number, I've just added a 0 at the end. Again, these are placeholders. Rule number 4. The 2 and the 9 count as always. Rule number 1. And that final 0 is also going to count. Rule number 3. 1, 2, 3 sig digs. Last number. 8, 3, and 9, all significant because of rule number 1. 0 is sandwiched between the 8 and the 3, so it's going to count because of rule number 2. Same thing for this 0, sandwiched between the 3 and the 9, so it also is going to count. Final 0 behind the decimal. Rule number 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 significant digits. I hope this helps you better understand significant digits.